Here we are in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, standing in front of the National Archives and Records Administration building, where preserved in argon for all posterity and for the viewing of all citizens in the United States is the Declaration of Independence. The Declaration is considered the founding document of the United States of America. On July 4th, 1776, John Hancock, as President of Congress, and 55 other delegates, as an act of the Second Continental Congress, declared 13 colonies in North America were free and independent states, and that all political ties between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved. A bold move by a group of citizens that were motivated merely by their desire for freedom. Freedom from oppression and control by the British. You see, ladies and gentlemen, pumping through our blood, ingrained in our DNA is the spirit of freedom. That is who we are. That is who we will always be. Did I mention that was a bold move? So bold, in fact, that at the signing, Benjamin Franklin is quoted as saying, as replying to a comment by John Hancock, that we all must hang together. Franklin said, yes, we must indeed all hang together. Oh, most assuredly, we shall hang separately. I guess that was a little play on words, indicating that the failure to stay united as a group and win their freedom would lead to being executed individually for treason. Forefathers of this nation were willing to die for their freedom. Die. From 1775 to 1783, we as a nation fought to maintain our independence and our freedom. The opponent was the Kingdom of Great Britain, which at the time was the most sophisticated, well-trained army and navy in the world. Throughout the war, the British were able to use their naval superiority to capture and occupy the coastal cities. But our military strategy was to dominate the countryside, where 90% of the American population lived. At the outset of the war, our forefathers lacked a professional army or navy. Each colony provided its own defense through the use of local militia. These militiamen were lightly armed, slightly trained, and usually didn't even have uniforms. What they lacked in sophistication, we gained in guts. You see, we learned as a nation early on that by joining together as a community, as a group, as a coalition, that we could overcome even the strongest of foes. In 1775, June, the Continental Congress, in an effort to coordinate the military, appointed George Washington as Commander-in-Chief and developed the Continental Army. Due to the effectiveness of the militia, Washington continued to use both the Continental Army and the militia to fight Great Britain. About 250,000 served as either militiamen or in the Continental Army during that 8-year war. In the end, we, the underdog, the militia that had little to no training or weapons, we, the nation of strong-willed freedom fighters, won our freedom. We won it. Fast forward 2¼ centuries, where are we today, fellow Americans? Well, the news is not good. We're a country of skyrocketing debt, both as a government and as a people. We're a nation where our trade deficit is climbing and our unemployment of our people is falling. The price of our essentials, food, clothing, shelter, and transportation is rising, and our median income is falling. We have an increased number of our fellow citizens living in poverty and without health care. Our minority brothers and sisters are suffering through increased poverty, declined living conditions, and in some cases, even starvation. Friends, I'm ashamed to inform you that we live in a country where 30% or more of the 9th grade students in American high schools will never graduate. Or worse yet, you live in a country where an African American male baby born today is twice as likely to go to prison as he is to college. What a sad and horrific fact. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened to America? The land of the free and the home of the brave. We are broken-spirited people that are losing our reputation as a favorable place to live in the eyes of our neighbors. We're we're working more hours, we're making less money. We're not raising our children, somebody else is. Why? So that we can work more hours or more jobs, so we can have less and live less? Our nation was built on freedom, and we are slowly losing that which our forefathers died for. Friends, they died for our freedom. But don't take my word for it, here are the facts. According to the U.S. Department of Treasury, our national debt has risen from $5.7 trillion in 2001 to $9.2 trillion as of January 2008. And according to the Insurance Information Institute, total consumer credit card debt topped $12.8 trillion in 2008. That's an increase of over $5 trillion in just 7 years. Perhaps the most alarming of all statistics comes from the House Office of Management and Budget, which reports the balanced budget for the USA in fiscal 2000 was a $236 billion surplus. As of last year, that number changed to a $354 billion deficit. That's a $590 billion change, and not for the better, in just 7 short years. Over a $500 billion swing, and not for the positive. Other extremely alarming news, according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis, our personal savings rate fell to a minus 0.5% as of July 2005. That means that we, Americans, spend more than we make, and we are saving nothing for our future, or emergencies, or sudden health challenges, or unexpected job layoffs. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, our median household income has decreased over the last 6 years an alarming $1,100 a year, while the number of Americans living in poverty increased by 4.9 million people in just the last 7 years. That means that a total of 36.5 million people live in poverty in this country. If you're one of our minority brothers and sisters, the likelihood that you're one of those is even higher than average. In 2006, 24.3% of African American citizens lived in poverty, while 20.6% of our Hispanic neighbors suffered the same circumstance. Meanwhile, 46.9 million Americans live without any form of medical insurance. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, that is an increase of 8.5 million Americans in the last 7 years. Food and fuel prices are rising exponentially, and so are the profits of the oil companies. Exxon reported profits of $36.1 billion in 2006. That's up $7.9 billion in 2000. Isn't it nice that our gas prices soar, causing the average citizen to strain their monthly budgets, while Exxon announces $28.2 billion increase in profits in just the last 6 years. That equates to $4.7 billion per year increase. Wake up, America. It's time to make a change. It's time to take a stand. It's time to do something for ourselves and not sit around and wait for someone to do something for us. It's time to control our own destiny. We need to take action, and we need to do it today, just like our founding fathers did when they wanted to capture their freedom. Friends, we have it in us. It is part of us. It is what built this great country. We can do it. And if we don't, well, we're all going to wake up a few years from now and wonder what the heck happened. You know, I have a strong belief. Here it is. Are you ready? Are you paying attention? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. What happens if you join the ranks of those suffering from poverty? That's right, the government's going to have to take care of you, making you part of the problem. What happens if you join the ranks of someone that's lost their job? That's right, the government is going to have to take care of you. That makes you part of the problem. If you can't afford health insurance and you get sick, the government is going to have to take care of you, making you part of the problem. All of this increase on the government increases our deficit, puts a strain on taxes, and increases the problem for all of us. So right now, you're probably looking at me going, okay, hotshot, what's the solution? Man, that's so stinking easy, I can't even believe you haven't figured it out. The solution is in your face. It, like the Freedom Finders, can be found in your history books. The solution is born in the successful men and women of the past that recognized opportunity and acted on it. Here I am standing in front of the Capitol building in Sacramento, the capital of California. California has the largest economy in the entire United States. In fact, if California's economy were measured by itself against the gross national product of other countries, it would rank as the 7th largest country in the world. California is the first state to ever reach $1 trillion in gross state product. California also holds 2 of the top 10 most populous cities, Los Angeles and San Diego. 1 out of every 8 United States residents lives right here in California. In its foundational years, California's name became connected with the gold rush, and as a result was connected with what became known as the California Dream. California was perceived as a place of new beginnings. In the years following the gold rush, historian H.W. Brands noted the California Dream spread to the rest of the United States and became part of what was now known as the New American Dream. The American Dream was born in the theory that hard work was rewarded with great wealth. Talking about hard work, the opportunists of the gold rush days started with the immediate problem of getting to California. You see, California in those days was a long way from home. There was no railroad to whisk opportunity seekers west, no river to float them to California. So instead, the opportunity seekers of that era would start with the painful test of endurance. Let me explain. There were 2 miserable choices to go west, to go capture that opportunity. First, there was the sea route, which was around the south tip of South America. The challenge started with the fact that the journey took more than 6 months. Now, there was an alternative, but it wasn't much better. A 2,000-mile walk across the barren American outback, a land that was heavily populated with angry American Indians protecting their land. Most of the eastern opportunity seekers favored the sea route. However, the sea route participants met with extreme challenges. Seasickness was commonplace. Food was infested with bugs and worse, completely spoiled. Water stored for months in the ship's belly was rancid and impossible to drink. Then there was the boredom. Months and months at sea with nothing to do except dream about gold. And the wait was intolerable. Due to those challenges and the desires for opportunity seekers to be in California quicker, a quicker route was soon discovered across Panama. It seemed like the logical shortcut. However, transversing the rainforest of Central America in the 1840s was an adventure all in itself. Malaria and cholera were common. Those who survived to see the Pacific faced yet another dilemma. They were stranded. Ships to ferry them up the coast of San Francisco were rare. So the gold rush California dreamers waited for weeks or months in overcrowded, disease-infested coastal towns. The hardships, the sacrifice, the determination and dedication that it took to be an opportunist in those days was more than significant. It was extreme. Compare that to the sacrifice that you, my fellow American, need to make to follow your American dream today. Do you have to sacrifice months of your time, or do you have to face extreme hardships like disease, starvation, boredom, or worse yet, death? Friends, there were generations of immigrants that have been attracted by the American dream. Over the years, in California alone, farmers, oil drillers, movie makers, airplane builders, and dot-com entrepreneurs that have each had their boom times in the decades after the gold rush. Back in those days, your ancestors and mine knew what it took to be successful. Friends, this country was created by people that are resourceful, dedicated, determined, powerful, and motivated entrepreneurs. It is in our DNA. Throughout time, we have continued to prove my theory. Let me share yet another time when history proves my theory. Remember the great industrialist age? People like John D. Rockefeller, a man that was born just 63 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, a man that amassed a fortune of $318 billion in today's dollars, arguably making him the richest man in history, richer than Gates, Buffett, Walton combined. a man that defined responsible wealth and defined what we now know as philanthropy. A man whose legacy carried out for generations and produced decades of business and political leaders, like his grandson, David Rockefeller, who served as CEO of Chase Manhattan Bank for 20 years, or Nelson A. Rockefeller, governor of New York and 41st Vice President of the United States. A third grandson, Winthrop Rockefeller, governor of Arkansas, or great-grandson, John D. J. Rockefeller, who served as Democratic Senator from West Virginia. Or yet another, Winthrop Paul Rockefeller, who served 10 years as Lieutenant Governor in Arkansas. There are so many other examples from that era, like Andrew Carnegie and Henry Ford. But there are modern-day examples by the dozens, like, of course, Bill Gates of Microsoft, Michael Dell from Dell Computer, Sam Walton of Walmart, Larry Ellison, Oracle, or Philip Knight of Nike. What do all these people have in common? Come on, that's an easy one too. Right. They own their own business. They are entrepreneurs and they're responsible for the products and services that make up your daily life. Everything from your car to your computer, from your desk to your driveway, entrepreneurs make the world go round, or more boldly put, the world revolves around them. In fact, you have local entrepreneurs that you do business with every day. The local dry cleaner, your hairstylist, the photographer that took your pictures last Christmas, your local handyman or your pest control service. Heck, even the kid down the street that babysits your kids or mows your lawn is in business for himself. In fact, business, big or small, is the solution in this country. Just remember, I'm talking about small business, not small profits. Don't get them confused. It is something that you can have, and more importantly, it is something that you deserve. Why does it always have to be the other guy that gets the opportunities? The best things in life can be yours. All you have to do is make a conscious effort to make a positive change in your life. You have to step out of your comfort zone, do something different. You have to face your fears, stash all of those preconceived notions about business ownership, and understand that there is no magic to gaining your freedom. It is your birthright. It is your heritage. It is and will be what made this country great. Think about it for a minute. Say you own your own business. What happens now? Who is in control of your destiny? That's right, you are. Who is in control of your time and freedom? That's right, you are. Who is in control of your passion, your focus, and your motivation, your purpose? And you get the point. You are. Friends, I figure if you haven't pushed stop on your DVD player yet, it's probably time to introduce myself. My name is Jim Piccolo, and I'm an entrepreneur. Just like that kid that shovels your snow in the winter, remember? Except I've done a little bit more than the kid down the street, I hope. Heck, these days you never can tell. Anyway, I currently operate and of course own a significant interest in several dozen companies. I have interest in businesses from construction to technology, from a national real estate sales franchise to an accounting firm. My business ownership interests include everything from protection dog breeding and training to an aviation company specializing in private jet transportation. I own interest in fascinating companies like high-end home theater design and installation, to an online university that grants associate's and bachelor's degrees. But my baby, the one that I want to talk to you about today, the one of all these businesses that I'm most proud, is a company called Nouveau Riche, an education company that is unique in that it utilizes home-based business entrepreneurs to sell its product. In that lies the opportunity for you to own your own business. You can do it full or part-time from the comfort of your home. We sell education, but the fantastic part of this company is that we sell education on how to invest in real estate, a very lucrative career in and of itself. Real estate has been touted by many as the best and most secure method of wealth creation in this country. In fact, Forbes magazine, in an article written October 25th, 2006, titled Industries with the Greatest Number of Self-Made Millionaires and Billionaires, cites the real estate industry as one of only three. In that article, they state that the real estate industry has produced the largest number of self-made millionaires and billionaires. In fact, it is common knowledge that nearly all of the richest people in this country own significant real estate investments, including land, commercial buildings, and residential housing. They go on to say, and I quote, "Unaccounted for amongst the Forbes 400 list are thousands of small-time real estate multimillionaires." There you have it, a dual income opportunity. One where you can own your own business, representing those fine products and services. And as you become familiar with the product, you can learn to invest in real estate. That's why I call it a dual income opportunity. 2 chances to create a new life. 2 chances at being your own boss. 2 chances at finding your time and financial freedom. So, why reinvent the wheel? Do what successful people do, starting with your ancestors, the men and women that started this revolution. You know, the entrepreneurial revolution. I like to call it the Nouveau-lution. Take some time and check out what Nouveau Riche has to offer you. You won't be disappointed. When you make that positive decision to get your business going, you become part of the solution, just like the militiamen that fought the Revolutionary War to gain our freedom. It's time to take back our financial freedom in this country, and it all starts with us, this country's citizens. To build a strong country, we must start by building strong citizens. That's you. Please join us. God bless America.